Hello everybody, right, let's have a look at Bitcoin. We'll just be real quick on this one and then we can move on to some other videos for some of the alts. So basically what's been going on then now, since we had this big pump, we've broken above this descending trend, which we've been in for quite a while, and we broke above it and we had our candle close above it as well, which is actually a good sign. As of today, we tried to push up here in the middle of the night and had a strong rejection here. Now, looking at these three candles, as bullish as they are, they have enormous wicks on them, which shows to me a little bit of indecisiveness and perhaps a need to consolidate from this move and maybe even, I know it sounds silly, maybe even retrace. Alright, it's a bit too early for me to say whether or not we're going to go up or going to go down at this point. Now, we can we can look at a few things, and at this point it's getting to the point now where there's conflicting information. So first of all, we're above all moving averages. All major moving averages on the daily, we are above. We've avoided the death cross as well, which looks extremely good. I wouldn't say it's bullish, but it's definitely not bearish when it comes to that, because that's one thing that we were waiting for. We were waiting for that death cross to confirm, and it would have meant quite a deep correction. Now it doesn't mean that this read me, what's going on here? It doesn't mean that that can't happen, but what it does mean is that so long as we're at this level here, or should I say we've got to be above this level here, which is where the 200 exponential is, we've got to be around about above 8,400 or more. So long as we're above there, we will not get this death cross. The death cross won't happen, even though we got a death cross on the simple moving averages. It's the exponentials that really count for something. So like I say, it looks to me at the moment like we've avoided that, but it's still early days, because like I say, if we consolidate from here, we could consolidate back down into these areas. Even if we were to get down to the low 8,000s, we'd still be in a consolidation pattern. We wouldn't be reaching our all-time lows. I'll say all-time lows, this recent bottoming effect that we had here. So like I say, we're not out of the woods yet. So those are all positive signs. On the negative, I should say, this is the first time I've looked at it today, but on the negative side of things, we still have the conversion and the baseline cross on the Ichimoku cloud on the weekly, which is still a bearish sign. The fact that we had it means that it's bearish for a continuation down. So let me just have a little look at something, because the last time we had this take place, I want to see how it reacted. So we had a cross here. So let me just measure this one out. Okay, so our cross took place here. The price action was, let's just say here, and we came down 44% from that conversion line. Let's just measure the candle body closes, and then 44%, and then we came up. We came up 42%, and we came down. Sorry about this. My computer. I just hate this computer sometimes. And then we came down quite a lot. Oh, you're just doing my head in. You are doing my head in, right? When we came down, well, we came down quite a lot further, didn't we? We came down 65%. So just work this one out. So we had the conversion line cross of the baseline, so we didn't have that drop. In fact, we had a bounce instead. Like I say, this has only happened once, and that I've got access to here on this chart, and obviously that was the end of a 4-year cycle, being a bear market. But it generally, like I say, I do hold a lot of weight on this when it comes to an indicator. The indicator obviously does the reverse, and that happened here, and then we had a big bold move up from around about 5,500 to 14,000. So I am still inclined to have this indicator mean something, to be honest with you. It is an indicator that generally does work on long-term trend analysis, and we have, like I say, we have history showing us on Bitcoin how it reacted in both ways, both moving up and both moving down. So I am, I begin to sound like a perma bear, really, because I talk about bearish moves all the time, but that's because we've been bearish for quite a while now. I don't think this bearishness is ended quite yet. I believe that there is definitely going to be a consolidation coming back down beneath into this area here, probably even coming down to test the low 8,000s. I know that sounds silly because, like I say, our sort of medium sort of term on the daily, on the daily chart doesn't look that way at all. The daily chart looks bullish as hell, with maybe an opportunity now to have a small consolidation, perhaps down to the bottom of this, and touch one of these moving averages, maybe even if it's just this one, which would be around about 900. So that might be where it's going in the short term. Like I say, there's conflicting interests here. That the longer term, as in the next month or so, looks to me, if we're judging it by the weekly chart, looks like it still wants to come down from the level that we are right now, if not just a little further than we have been at. I would probably say I would expect us to come down at some point in the next month to the low 8,000s again, and then again, if that gets tested, then we can start to talk about further retracements. Now we do have this 242, this red moving average here, which is the first time it's ever been broken in a bull market. It got broken here, and you saw what happened at this point here, and we did have a huge buyback, but it's a very difficult one for me to chart at the moment. Like I say, it's going to take a little while for some of these moving averages to work their way out, and indicators to start giving me reliable sort of short-term analysis. But the long term, I would say, is still on the cards because of that weekly, the fact that the weekly had that Ichimoku cloud cross. And let's just have a look at the weekly MACD, which is it's in bullish territory, definitely, and the RSI is recovering, and the volume is looking okay. But we just have that cross, and like I say, I hold a lot of weight on that cross. So what I would probably say is short term, I expect a consolidation down to, let's have a look at the 12 hourly, see if there's anything that holds relevant on that 12 hourly. So the 12 hours is beginning to look a little tired now. I think 9,000 is probably an area where we're likely to at least test relatively soon. We have bounced exactly on this 7-day close. If that breaks, we've got the 200 EMA right there. So honestly, I think we're looking at levels of around about 8,800 to 9,000 to start with perhaps a continuation down from there. Maybe not this immediately. Like I say, we're battling around here, but we've had strong rejections every time we get to these levels here. We've moved up 35% in basically a day. I think consolidations are needed, and I think consolidations are coming. And then depending on how far and how deep we retrace from those consolidations, we could talk about perhaps maybe breaking beneath the 242 again, and if that takes place once again, I would expect further retracements. Now again, on the flip side of things, bullishness could easily happen, because this is manipulated isn't the right word, but it is basically manipulated as hell. We've got huge whales, we've got all these people who can move the market, and that's fine, because every market has things like that. So there's unpredictable behaviour, erratic behaviour taking place all the time. I'm not going to be overly bullish on this. I think we've reached our limit at the moment. Until we break above 10,000 with a candle body close above 10,000, and preferably 11,200, that kind of area, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be actually bullish. I'm going to be skeptical until 11,200 is broken with a candle body close, and then we can talk about reaching our previous highs. But for the moment, like I say, consolidation and possible retracement, but certainly consolidation. If we start to revisit lower than 8,800, 8,200 would be my new target. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. I hope you have a nice evening. Take it easy.